There you go. Wash your hands.
Okay. Wash your hands.
Rude.
It signifies hope, healing, restoration of public health and public safety, and don't give up on the efforts that we have been engaging in so far in terms of wearing our masks, social distance, believe in the science. I've worked on the front lines for months alongside my colleagues who work tirelessly to put an end to this pandemic. And so this signifies a step in the right direction to end this pandemic.
I never understood the Black Lives Matter movement, and this is as someone who is a minority, I never understood what it stood for until all of this. I didn't fully get it. Like, I understood, I always supported it, but I never got it. Like, it never sit with me the way it does now. And I think there are so many people who are not black or brown who felt the same way. And I think that, you know, we've also talked about this before too. It's like, there's a whole snowball that's happening right now. I hope, you know, like your question is, like, I hope in 30 years from now, we're not still having the same discussion, but the only way we're gonna have that change, like you said, vote locally, but also keep having that discussion.
With the opioid crisis that exists today,
yes,
I find the medical profession responsible for part of that, because when the way that they have treated women, where the medical profession treated women, what I mean by that is the fact a woman would go to a doctor with an illness of some sort, and he'd say, "Ah, it's only in your head. Here, take this." Really, and it's laughable, but it's true.
No, it is true. I know that.
And I feel that that is something that has got to change in our society. When you see, my daughter taught in the public school system for a while, and she saw kids coming to class in the morning, not having breakfast, not having any dinner the night before.
Right.
What effect does that have upon a child?
Sometimes these coffee meetups end up being like, if you have more to talk about, then you take the conversation out of the coffee shop, right?
Yes.
Like, so Stefana has been very good with just starting like Slack channels that are like specific for that particular topic. So, so I think you can continue to be passionate about whatever you want to be passionate about.
We speak with Robert Cantor, a parent advocate who shares how his intervention and approach fueled his daughter's decision to seek recovery from substance use disorder. Now, he advocates for families and individuals who may be facing similar struggles. Please welcome Robert Cantor.
Let's save some lives.
Yeah, let's definitely do that. Tell me about your daughter, Sasha, and her substance use disorder.
Sure. Sasha is currently 25 years old. The signs of her substance abuse began when she was a senior in high school. To fast forward to about 1.5 years ago, she bottomed out. She was using heroin and opioids, locked in an apartment with a person that was dealing her drugs and using them with her. And my former wife and I intervened.
New rules for restaurants. All bars and restaurants statewide will be subject to new requirements. They must only serve alcohol to people who are ordering and eating food. All service at bar tops must only be for seated patrons who are socially distanced by 6 feet or separated by a physical barrier.
Go on a little road trip down to the cabin. 5 teens in a station wagon. We got the jock who never stop bragging about the bad bitch in the back is banging. And thirdly, get the virtuous virgin, the burst of the urge of a certain insertion. Nerd in the backseat, he's flirting with her, though he knows that it won't be returning.
When looking to your health, I don't see anything detrimental taking place. I don't feel anything major around you. Besides your stomach, just you're gonna be good.
There you have it, right from the source. Okay, so you know, Katerina, Elias is the source, the man. He's saying to you, all's going to be well. To follow on your own intuitive hunch to brew your own natural ginseng tea and lemon and a little honey and all the things that you know will be soothing.
Reminder, viewers, of the actual retail price of Purell is $3.50. Now, Peter, tell me when to stop the mountain climber where you think the price is gouged to. Here he goes. Okay, so you stopped him at $11. Now can we see the price gouge price of a 12-ounce bottle of Purell? Oof. It was price gouged at $23. I'm sorry, Pete. You did not make it.
Bodegas.
That's a bodega.
Well, when I was young, my brother, he wanted to skate starting group lessons, and I wanted to do it too with him. So I started doing it, and after about a year, I loved it, so I started doing private lessons.
Okay. And what did you love about skating?
Like, I love how the feeling of you being like on the ice, it's really great. It's just like when you skate, you just feel so free because it's like nice and cold air.
And if you don't have the people on your team that can successfully connect with real people, hire some. There's New Yorkers that would have worked for you that could have translated what the community's needs were. Look, let's face what some of their needs were. 25,000 more jobs coming in, you need transportation. 25,000 more jobs coming in, there's worries about gentrification, so maybe they need some affordable housing built. 25,000 jobs coming in, are those jobs going to benefit the people in that neighborhood? So maybe they need some training to get to those jobs, or maybe there's a certain portion of those they could set aside to hire local. These are just common sense things that come out of most development projects.
When people spit on us, when people tell us to go back to our country, go back to where this virus came from, or even worse, where our kids are getting bullied, they're getting shunned and shamed because of this virus. We just heard of an incident this week in Great Neck, and it was very sad and terrifying for our kids. So the main takeaway that I would like everybody to recognize, and it's paramount for everybody to understand, is that we have to report.
When you say people of color having negative opinions about police in their neighborhood, again, I go back to not so much black and white, but you know, the wealth of the community. So if you have certain communities where there's substance abuse problems, mental health, healthcare, and that sort of stuff, a more congested community where there's more crime, how do you deal with the crime and quality of life? Traditionally, what you do is you send more police into that community and you do more enforcement, sometimes heavy-handed enforcement, trying to get things under control. That means the people in that community are going to have more interactions with the police.
Right.
They're going to be getting more tickets, there's going to be more arrests, and that sort of stuff. And I think that leads up to them having negative experience with the cops.
You've heard of the saying, don't believe everything you read, right? Well, that saying couldn't be more true when it comes to flushable wipes. Although the packaging states these wipes are flushable, turns out they are anything but. While toilet paper decomposes after a few hours of being submerged in water, these wipes don't even break down in weeks.
We had been planning to work remotely long before it actually came to be. In the beginning of February, I put together a coronavirus task force just internally of what would it look like if this really materialized. You know, we planned for the worst, hoping for the best. Unfortunately, it was more kind of the worst that happened.
There's no situation where police and civilians can create a sense of community or bond. Whenever the police are called, it's because of an issue. The PAL programs, the other community-based organizations, a lot of defunded and lost just programming in the community centers. You know, coming from one, I know how it is. And so there's this imagery that's created on both sides of the danger that's caused from each person. I don't think that there have been opportunities to create any type of other dialogue or imagery. That has to change.
If I said I just was outside and the stars are out, would you believe me? Would you accept that answer? Probably yes, right? So why wouldn't you accept that Andre feels that he has bias, he's biased against, he's subject to prejudice if he tells you that? Why won't you accept that the Asian community is saying that they're being bullied because of the coronavirus?
It's my belief that my voice was only heard because of the white and Jewish allies that stood with me.
All right.
We have to keep that energy and that solidarity going as we fight. Right now, our constitutional rights are being stripped, and the police officers, there are police officers committing war crimes against the very people they are paid to protect and serve. Here on Long Island.
Receive, O Lord, the sacrifice of consolation and praise, and grant that cleansed by its action, may we make offering of a heart pleasing to you, through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Police medics Ian Newman and Laurent Barbu responded to the medical emergency. Upon arrival, the patient was found to be not breathing and pulseless. CPR was initiated. The patient's heart was shocked with a defibrillator, stabilizing the cardiac rhythm. The patient was intubated and an IV was started. Numerous advanced life support medications were administered to the patient. This was all done in the home prior to removing the patient from the house. Ultimately, the patient was stabilized and transported to a hospital that specializes in cardiac reperfusion.
I got blown up on a booby trap. My plane caught fire. It's unbelievable that I should go ahead. And the fellas in back of our airplane, they grabbed me, these fellas from out of town, and they asked me to release in a B-29. But I figured I had 3.5 years and might as well go home. But I really had wonderful guys, wonderful experiences.
I love this organization. They always are there to help whoever needs help. Always doing like everything they can, above and beyond, quick, like to the point, you know, no fooling around. And I really, really love, and I hope that they can always work to help those in need.
This is a Grand Central Station Eagle. This is at the end of Kings Point Road. Does anybody know where this eagle might be? At the end of Kings Point Road, it's on a private estate.
Wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Washing your hands limits the risk of getting sick by touching a contaminated surface and then spreading the virus to your eyes, nose, or mouth if you touch your face.
Welcome to Teen TV Presents, a show where the members of Teen TV shed a spotlight on local nonprofit organizations with the goal of raising awareness and letting the viewer know how they can get involved. Today our topic is the New York Blood Center, and our guest, Stacy Sotilli. Thank you for joining us. Stacy Sotilli.
Thank you.
Okay, so first off, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Stacy Sotilli. I'm 48 years old. I'm a wife and a mom. I have 2 boys at home. I have a 12-year-old and a 21-year-old. And I was diagnosed with sickle cell disease as a baby, and that's why I'm here today.
I had a young associate working for me at that time. We didn't hear from her. She was on downtown in court. We didn't hear from her almost all day. Her parents were chasing, calling me every hour, hoping that she was well. And when she finally called in, she explained she was never trained to see what she saw.
I, for one, see that we can probably do a lot more by helping our business establishments avail themselves of government services to help them stay in business. I'm thinking in particular of the Small Business Administration. The Small Business Administration, a federal agency, provides a lot of services to small businesses.
We have opened up, but now more than ever, we must make smart choices. As the high holidays are approaching, it is my hope that you each continue to wear masks